Hey guys, welcome back to the next episode of my Nameless art journal series. In this video, we're going to be binding our journal so that we can actually start using it, and I'm super excited because this is when everything starts to come together. So all I want you to do is take your stack of pages, and what I like to do is I like to put them into piles by type. So I like to put a pile of cardstock, a pile with sewing, a pile that's completely blank, and that's going to help me give a nice variety to every single signature that I create. A signature is a lot of pages that are all together. So in this journal, we're going to have 4 signatures. And so to make your signature, you just want to stack the pages together with the fold meeting. So just like you see me doing here. And I really like to keep my signatures at around 5 pages per signature. I don't like to do too many more than that. For this journal, I'm taking my cardstock page and I'm putting 5 sheets inside that for every single signature. So I've got 2 signatures with the black cardstock on the outside and 2 signatures with the coloured card on the outside. And as I do this, I just like to make sure I'm pulling pages from each stack so that I've got some plain and I've got some with scrap papers and stitching, just so that each page is really varied. So that's going to give us our 4 signatures, super duper easy. And then I'm just putting mine in the order that I want them to be. So I'm going coloured, black cardstock, just so that again everything's nice and varied. You can see that my pages fit quite well in my journal. One thing you want to make sure is that the eyelets we put on our journal are sitting just above where our pages sit. So the size of the pages, you want them to sit in between the eyelets. If they sit longer than where the eyelets are, then this binding is going to start to tear into your pages. So if your pages are longer and they're sort of covering up your eyelets on the inside, they're not sitting in between the 2 eyelets, then you're just going to want to trim your pages down so that they are sitting in between. Then we're going to take some thread and we're going to cut really long strands. So 4 strands or 1 strand per signature, however many that you have. Then we're going to take our thread and we're going to put it in the middle of our signature, so in the fold. And then we're going to take the top thread and we're going to thread it through the top eyelet, and we're going to take the bottom thread and we're going to thread it through the bottom eyelet. And then once you do that, you're going to take that top thread again and you're going to put it back in through the bottom eyelet. I'm going to do this a couple of times so you can watch what I'm doing. But once you've done that, you're going to have 2 really long threads and you're going to tie them around themselves. So together around themselves in a simple knot, and try and tie this quite closely to the actual journal cover. And we're going to leave those threads nice and long because we're going to actually bead on those threads later in the next lesson. So leave those nice and long, don't trim them down. We want those to be nice and long for beading. So again, take your next signature, find the middle of it. Take your really super duper long thread and put it in the middle of the signature so that it's sitting down the middle of the page. And then take the top of that thread through the eyelet and the bottom of that thread through the bottom eyelet. And I've done this 2 signatures per the first eyelets on the top and bottom, and then 2 signatures for the second set of eyelets on the top and bottom. 2 signatures per eyelet set. So thread it through, and then you want to take that top thread again and bring it down the book, and then it's going to go back in through that bottom eyelet or grommet, and then you'll have them sort of crisscrossed over where you can tie them around themselves quite close to the cover and leave those threads nice and long. So again, watch how I do this because I don't know that I'm explaining it the best. If I put the thread through the signature, the top thread through the eyelet, the top eyelet. Bottom thread through the bottom eyelet, and then pull the threads through so there's not really any slack. That'll pull your signature in nice and tight to the spine. Then that top thread is going to go back in the cover through the bottom eyelet. And then once you bring that through the eyelet, pull everything nice and snug. They've kind of crisscrossed around the cover, and then they're coming out the bottom where we can tie them around together into one really simple knot, nice and close to the cover. And that's why we want our threads to be really long as well, because we want that excess on the bottom. We're actually going to add some beads to these later, and that's where we're going to add our charms and our found objects, and so you want those to be nice and long. And this is sort of what your binding will look like. It won't be super tight, it's different to stitching. It's going to be a little bit loose, but that's kind of handy in a way because you can actually take the pages in and out if you need to. Say if later on you want to take a page out to sew on it, you can kind of slide it out gently and then put it back in, kind of like a TN style, I guess. But nothing's going to fall out, everything's in there ready to go. And now you can sort of see how the journal is going to look with the pages in and with an image peeking through. Your assignment for this video is to bind your journal and then decide on what image you want peeking through your window cover if you haven't already, so that everything's kind of ready to go to do our first art journal page in the next lesson. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions, and make sure you use that hashtag #NamelessArtJournal if you'd like to share your work or if you'd like to show me what you've done so far. Thank you guys for stopping by my channel today, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.